Welcome to the Big O Show.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Big O Show podcast. I'm your host, as always, Ryan Anka. Thank you for taking time out of your day whenever you're listening to this episode. I really appreciate it. And hey, remember, if you haven't already liked the Big O Show Facebook page, be sure to do that. I've been posting a lot more info. And if you already do, thank you for your support. If you're new to this podcast, what you can expect is a little bit of motivation, a little bit of sports talk, and a little bit of life in between. So that's kind of the mission. That's kind of what I'm trying to accomplish with this podcast. And I'd love to hear back from you guys if you like stuff, don't like stuff, and just in general, you know, there's power in community. There's power in helping one another. And that's what I'm trying to do with this. Like I said, if I can help one person achieve something or just help improve somebody's mood for that day, that week, maybe even in their life, then I've accomplished what I'm trying to do with this podcast. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into today's message.
Let me know, let me know.
So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was just legacy. You know, it's something that's easy to say, but it's hard to really understand. And a lot of people have different meanings, you know, for the word legacy. And when you think about it, you know, most people think of legacy in terms of money or property that they might pass on to like their loved ones or their kids or something like that. But it's really so much more than that. You know, it includes intangible things like your values, your beliefs, your attitude, or the power of your last name. And, you know, as a former player and coach, that's something that I hold in very high regard. You know, the power of my last name, Anka. What does it mean to me? Well, really, it means everything. You know, growing up in not a, you know, major city, it's a big enough city, but it's still small enough to where you can know a lot of people. And with my family being the only family with that last name in the whole city, if someone says that last name, they think of my family, whether it's myself or my sister, my mom, or my dad, and now my wife, obviously. So the name carries weight. And for me, you know, what do I want to be remembered for? Well, there's a lot of things that I'd like to be remembered for. But if nothing else, I want to be remembered for helping others in any capacity. You know, I think that's why I got into coaching. I think that's why I got into teaching, is because I wanted to impact. I wanted to help change lives, you know. I wanted to help people realize that they can achieve and do more with their life than they're currently doing. And, you know, this is a talk that I've recently had with some of the players that I coach. You know, legacy is an easy thing, like I said, to talk about, but it's kind of hard to describe, and it can mean, you know, many different things. And in terms of football, you know, when I was talking to my players, I was trying to tell them, you know, we have a really talented team this year. We can do a lot of really good things, but what are you going to be remembered for? You can be remembered as just a class clown. You can be remembered as a player or as a team that had all the potential in the world but didn't capitalize on it. Or you can be remembered as a team that finally took that next step. And in terms of sports, you know, what determines your legacy? Well, there's a lot of different things, obviously, your mindset, your work ethic, and just execution. But in terms of life, you know, what determines your legacy is a little bit of everything. What you do on a day in to day out basis is what determines your legacy. How you carry yourself determines your legacy. What people think about you when you're not around them shows your legacy. You know, obviously everyone's not going to love you. Everyone's not going to like you. I get that. I understand that. But realize if your legacy currently isn't something that you love, isn't currently something that you hold in high regards, it's not too late. You know, it can be changed. And why I'm trying to encourage you guys to go ahead and try to take control of your legacy today and control what you can control, something that I always say is because whenever you're gone from this earth, whenever that is, you know, you're no longer in control of your legacy. What you've left behind is already done. So what are you doing today to influence your legacy? What are you doing today, you know, to influence or impact someone's life, not just yourself? Because, you know, if you live a selfish life, you're not going to have a great legacy. You might be successful in business or something, but no one's going to hold you in high regard as a person. So that's kind of my challenge for this episode. You guys know I always like to give you a challenge. Is just, what's your legacy, and are you happy with it? If you're not happy with it, why? What can you do to change that? And remember, almost everything in your life can be changed, right? Obviously, there's some circumstances, some situations that things are set. But for the most part, you control your future, you control your legacy, and you control your impact on the world. William James said, the great use of life is to spend it for something that will outlast it. So what are you doing to create a legacy that will outlast your life and impact those around you? Now, be the change that you want to see in the world and go out there and make today the best day of your life. I'll talk to you guys soon.